Hey there, Lance. Thanks for opting into the video critique here. Um, I am just glancing over your ad. Make this a little bit smaller. And here we go. A little bit of it's off this frame, but okay, so maybe I'll start with your presentation here. Um, this looks pretty good. Interesting. I'm intrigued by this. Is this representing electricity, perhaps? Um, I don't know if it matches with the colors is the only thing I'm a little like about, but might not be a deal breaker. Okay. Um, looks pretty good. I like the rounded colors. I like the amount of white space. The placement for these is a little bit weird. I like the where these are placed. Perhaps you can make this logo smaller and move it up a bit so it just occupies here and then you have some nice white space down around. Now, I will say your white space is trapped. Okay, having these three strokes on the edge of the page is trapping your white space totally. If you remember from the book, she talked about trapping your white space. You want to avoid doing that. You always want to let your consumer's eye be able to flow off the edge of the page. Now, in your specific application of it, because you do have so much white space on the page, it doesn't look bad to me. Okay? Um, it might look better to only have these lines on the right and the left hand side of the page and allow your eye to flow off top and bottom, perhaps. Okay, so those are, or maybe top and bottom lines allow your eye to flow off right and left. So that's something you could possibly consider playing around with and just see if it looks better. But I do think something with this placement is a little bit odd. You have these aligned, so I think that's why you maybe did it, so the Tesla button campaign matched. But maybe if you want to keep it aligned, maybe this would become smaller. I think my design intuition is saying this would look really good up here and a little bit smaller. So you have kind of a diagonal balance for your campaign. Right now, or not your campaign, but your design. Right now, everything's kind of clustered in here. There's a weight that's all kind of down on this side. So that might help a little bit. Play around with these lines, see if you find anything you like better. If you don't, it's not a deal breaker to me that you have your trapped white space, but it might look better allowing your eye to flow off the page. This page looks really good. I like it. I like the logo here, actually. This looks pretty good with the amount of white space you have here. So maybe this needs to be smaller. But I like that you have it centered here to here. Okay, so just continue to play around with placement. It looks good down here. I really like this orientation with the ad. It's just this first intro slide I think could be a little bit stronger. Okay. This looks really nice. Remember to avoid having widows. So maybe make your first line a little bit shorter, bump down contrasting, it'll bump down maroon. Then your last line could probably say white background and you'd have a nice kind of almost box feel with your four lines. All right. Full bleed for the ad looks very nice. Contrasting these, same typeface, but all caps and a little bit bolder, looks really good. Okay, this looks nice. I like the right alignment. That looks really good. Ooh, do you know what? I think your ad isn't pulled off the top of the page all the way. I see this red line here. So make sure it's all the way off, allowing your eye to flow right on off the page. Okay. And then we go back to the lines here. This looks good still. Nice. Avoid this widow. Okay, good. I'll talk about your ad a little bit more in a second. Okay. Everything looks like it's spelled right, grammatically correct. That's something I always look for. And your conclusion slide. This looks good too. Oh, I like seeing these side by side. It might be fun if you wanted to. I think you have a sufficient amount of slides, but if not, no, I think it's fine just having it here at the bottom. It just looks so good. I thought maybe it'd be cool to have a slide after your new one showing them side by side, but at the end looks nice as well. Yeah, I think the main thing you need to figure out is that intro slide and whether it's a good design choice to use these lines or not. Also, this image really doesn't match the colors of your entire design. I like this image, but maybe you could find a different image that would really go with the colors because your colors are so simple, straightforward, gray, red, white, and I love how crisp they look everywhere else. All right, let's talk about your ad real quick. Um, I like this intro or this original ad that you selected, and your spin-off ad's very nice as well. Maybe you could add some shadow. See the nice shadow underneath this car? Maybe you could do that. That might help it feel a little bit more professional. Maybe you could change the color here too. Okay, so I just found a good tutorial for how to change colors in Photoshop. I just typed in how to change colors in Photoshop, but I found a really good tutorial for this recently. So you're going to, how do I replace? Yeah, okay. So you're going to go to Image, Adjustments, Replace Color. It's pretty simple. Then there's going to be a little pop-up and you're going to select the new color that you want using the eyedropper. Okay, so I think that might look really good to have this. Maybe this is a dark gray and this is a silver. Maybe this is more black and this is silver. Okay, so just a subtle difference between these two cars, because when I very first looked at your ad, it took me a second because your eye goes to the images first. And I said, oh wait, how are these different? How are these different? I was trying to figure out how they're different. They're not. But it might be helpful to people's brains to have them be subtly different. I'm reading for the black car, I'm rooting for the silver car, purely from a psychological perspective, and to give some differentiation to the ad. So it's not just carbon copy of the same car, okay? I really like what you've done with having these kind of be similar in terms of the feeling of the ad. Maybe you need to add these little lines on top and bottom. That might be nice. The bottom looks the very same. Yeah. Oh, you did. You already did that. I don't know why it's not showing up here. Maybe it was too thin. Okay, so really, really good start. Few small things on your presentation to figure out. And I think one thing you could do to make this a little bit stronger is to change the color. Now, if you go about it the laborious way where you're selecting and then changing color, you're going to lose the shadows and the lights. It's going to be very hard to have this look correct. But I'm assuming this is the same kind of type of tutorial where you're doing the image adjustment, replace color. It is going to maintain these shadows and these highlights for you, which will look really nice. Okay, great start, Lance. Just a few things to do before you're at that final level. All right, good work this semester.